in. Settle in whatever way feels right for you. Getting comfortable in your physical body, letting go of the distractions as you gently close your eyes, and returning to that beautiful rate of breath where the inhale flows right into the exhale. And so bringing all those parts together, the physical location where you are comfortable, the intention of letting go of the distractions by closing your eyes, and then this commitment to stay with this beautiful breath. That's how we'll begin our practice. And as all those parts are converging together, I would encourage you just sit and be aware. Just be aware. Be aware of the spots that are restless. Be aware of the list that are being constructed in your mind of all the things that you should and need to be doing. Be aware of how your heart feels, how your emotions feel. And just try to hang on to that awareness throughout these few minutes that we have. Be aware as I share thoughts with you, and then be aware as it gets quiet. And let's just see if we can witness ourselves through this practice together today. We're going to think about change. It is one of these unifying forces across humanity that impacts all of us. But as I was sitting with this topic of change over the last couple of days, I really wanted to think of some kind of a metaphor that might soften the harshness that we sometimes approach change with. And I was sitting outside on a hot summer day, and I was paying attention to the wind. And I thought that change in our lives is just as inevitable as the wind. There are times when the wind does not blow, and there are times in our life when it's steady and change is not happening. And just about the point in time we get a little comfortable, things begin to shift. The wind picks up, situations change, our patterns, our habits get interrupted. And just like when the wind comes, there are things about it that we don't often like, just as it is with change. And so I'd like us just to go on this journey, comparing change to how wind impacts our lives. And so just imagine that you're standing outside, and the day is still, and you're not really paying much attention. You're just kind of going through the motions of the day, and the wind begins to blow more. And it blows so much that you almost feel like you're kind of shifting side to side, maybe almost falling down. And you get frustrated and you think, how can this wind do this to me? What have I done to deserve this? Sometimes we even look up at the sky and think, why me? I was going through my day just minding my own business. Why did this wind have to come and just interrupt that? I don't like how it makes me feel. However, that very same wind we embrace when the day is really, really hot and we need a break from the heat. That same wind that frustrated us and made us feel shaky and unsteady, all of a sudden now we embrace it because it cools us off. The same wind that shook us and moved us and interrupted our pattern of our day, we embrace it when we sit and listen to it blow through the trees, and we get this sense of the beauty and the power of nature. And then that same wind that interrupts and makes inconvenient moments in our life, we embrace it when it begins to sing the chimes hanging on our back porch. putting this soft, sweet melody into our hearts. It's the same wind. But our perspective on that wind is what will cause us to either push against it or embrace it. But either way, the wind will blow. So I want to just pause for just a few breaths here. And just kind of let that sink in with me and with you. It's the same wind. It's our perspective that decides if it's a good thing in our life or not. So how does that connect to this concept of change? We embrace change when it gets us out of a rut and invigorates us and makes us excited about something new, a new job, a new relationship. Those changes we embrace. We don't like the changes that end a predictable pattern that we've become used to. Whether the pattern is good or not doesn't matter. The familiarity of it gives us comfort. And change, the same thing we were embracing with the new job and the new relationship, now we push against it because it's interrupted our way of being. And just like with the wind, we find ourselves looking up, hands outstretched, just wondering why? Why? But to question change is almost as silly as to question the wind. It's this inevitable force in our lives. It affects all of us. It doesn't matter where on the planet we live, how much money is in our bank account, or what languages we speak. Change is part of this journey. And so our meditation practice is not going to keep us immune from change. It's not going to help us have this one steady path that never shifts. But what it will do, what it will bring to us, is a way of being when the change comes. What it will give to us is the capacity to embrace each present moment, whether it's a predictable moment or an unexpected one due to change. I talk a lot about living from a space of equanimity, this measured, even way of being. And what I will share with you is that once you begin to first commit to that way of being, and then begin to actually practice it, change will not shake you and cause you to feel like you've lost your footing. That measured, even way of being will persist through it. Sometimes change makes us feel really uncomfortable because we feel like we've lost control or our perception of control. But what if we learned to truly embrace this present moment on purpose, without judgment? And then as we exhale and this new present moment comes, we embrace it. That's what we practice here in this space. One moment at a time. If we start focusing too much on what could come and what might come, and we watch the radar patterns to see about the wind and the storms, we get so tied up in all the possibilities and the what ifs that we forget that our grounding, our evenness happens in the here and the now. But we have to practice it. There will be changes in our lives, maybe for some of us today, tomorrow, next week. Some of those you will embrace, like the new relationship and the new job, and some of those your instinct is going to be to push back, to take it as a form of suffering. But what if, as you breathe into this present moment, you just breathe in to the present moment? Change is happening around you. Swirling activity is going on around you, but just like we closed our eyes, we've made a choice not to let these things impact us. I can't quite tell you that I do this consistently every day, every time. But I can assure you that I do it more often than I don't. But it's taken years of practice, years of choosing to stay measured from this place of equanimity, learning to live in this present moment. One breath, one moment at a time. And so I would ask each of us, what's the change that's impacting you right now? Let's be aware of it. The same way you're aware of the restlessness in your hips or the tension in your jaw. See whatever the change is. Some of you have been in the same ones for a while. The situation is big and it's long and it's lasting. Some of you, that change is just around the corner. But see if you can just find some awareness of what's this uncertainty, what's this wind that's blowing through your life right now. And then I'd like us to have some awareness about how it makes us feel. See it. Notice the fear. Notice the discomfort. Notice the frustration and embrace those as well. And then let's sit and see if we can find our way to this present moment, to the here and the now, so that little by little, little by little, we will begin to shift. We will learn a little more about how to embrace and how to push away a little less. We can't just embrace the change that makes us feel good, like the wind on a hot summer day, or the wind chimes, putting a song in our head and our heart. We have to embrace the wind that we don't like. So let's come back to this breath together. And although we'll sit individually, let's continue to sit together. So take a nice, slow, deep breath in. Feel this present moment. And then let yourself fully exhale it out and release that moment. Slow, deep breath in to this present moment. Full breath out. Release it. Breathing in. Breathing out. In. Out. And now let's just sit for this next moment or so of quiet, step out of this spot where you are and just witness how you feel, how your body, your mind, your spirit responds, and what you notice coming across the mind, the thoughts, the emotions. See it all, one breath at a time. Breathing in, embracing the wind that cools us on a hot summer day. Breathing out, embracing the wind that leaves a path of destruction behind it. Breathing in, embracing the change that makes me smile and anticipate the new day. Breathing out, embracing the change that makes me feel a little uncomfortable and unsteady. Breathing in, I embrace this present moment. Breathing out, I release it so that I'll be ready to embrace the next. I want to validate the fact that change is hard. And it does make us uncomfortable, and it does make us question. But it also gives us a chance to be aware of how we're approaching things in our life. Can you embrace the change that makes you feel good in the same way you embrace the change that makes you feel a little unsteady? And can you do it one moment at a time? My mom used to always tell us, don't borrow worry. Worry doesn't happen in this present moment. It happens in the moments that haven't even come. And so maybe we could practice her words of wisdom as we leave this space together. Don't borrow worry about what the change could do or might do any more than you worry about what the wind might do or not. Embrace this present moment fully, and then release it so you have space within your heart to embrace the next. Namaste.